Weird things you did not know about Cleopatra. You and I live by the same divine heartbeat, so we must stay glued to each other. Words like that hardly had any effect on Caesar. So the fact that Cleopatra won him over with them means there's something more to this lady than we ever knew. Cleopatra, the Queen of the Nile, is one of the most remarkable female figures in history. Born into the very intelligent Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra became the Queen of Egypt at the age of just 18. But her young age didn't stop her from achieving great feats. She declared herself the new Isis goddess and expected her subjects to kiss the ground she walked on. The Egyptian queen was a powerful ruler, scholar, and patron of the arts. She spoke multiple languages and was renowned for her philosophy, science, and mathematics knowledge. She also commissioned numerous architectural and artistic projects, leaving a lasting legacy in Egypt and beyond. As a politician and strategist, she used her wit and charm to form alliances and maintain her power, resulting in her famous romances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Indeed, she held power at the tips of her fingers. Cleopatra's reign brought Egypt 22 years of prosperity and stability. But this woman was no saint. She had too much up her sleeve and could manipulate even the fiercest of men. So relax and grab a bag of popcorn as we wow you with the weird things you did not know about Cleopatra. Milk and honey baths. It is true that Cleopatra was known for her striking beauty and was addressed as a goddess from birth. But unlike Queen Nefertiti, who was naturally very beautiful, she had some unusual beauty routines to maintain her looks. Cleopatra was very intelligent. She had first-hand knowledge of philosophy, science, mathematics, and every other tough subject you could think of, and due to that, this goddess Isis could speak up to 9 languages and knew just how to hold conversations with people and keep them interested. So clearly, it was more about the charm from her brain that made her presence very captivating. She knew that the image of being a beauty with brains would greatly boost her political career. With this, the goddess of Isis resorted to an unusual bath. One of her most famous beauty secrets was her milk and honey baths. According to historical records, this ancient beauty treatment wasn't very popular among the Egyptians, but it is said to have moisturizing properties and could exfoliate the skin. So, during her skincare routine, she'd be bathed in the milk of 700 lactating donkeys because the milk was considered a good anti-aging treatment. Irresistible sense of smell. As a chemistry expert, Cleopatra knew her way around fragrances. She had her own perfume factory near the Dead Sea by the Ain Gedi, producing the exact fragrance she loved to wear. She believed her own fragrances had the kind of powers and charm that could make her irresistible and get her what she wanted and how she wanted it. Insane skin glow maintenance. When it came to skincare, Cleopatra took no chances. Aside from fearing that her high-class lovers may lose interest in her, she was also afraid of getting old. In the 1st century BC, plastic surgeries were not permitted, but being a queen gave her the liberty to do whatever pleased her. She had a favorite spa treatment spot that only the richest men of that time could afford. Poison rings. Cleopatra was a master of the senses and knew what a lot of women her age didn't. For instance, she knew that being in charge was, in a way, putting her life at risk, so she had to protect herself from that. To this end, she started wearing rings containing a small amount of deadly poison. In case of an attack, the poison ring came in handy, and she used it to protect her own life rather than be captured or killed by her enemies. This may seem like a strange practice to modern sensibilities, but it was not uncommon for rulers and nobles to carry such deadly devices for protection in ancient times. Her exotic pets. Cleopatra had a love for exotic animals and was known to keep a variety of unusual pets. She famously owned a pair of lions, which she kept in her palace and would take on walks around the city. She also had a collection of monkeys, elephants, and other exotic creatures. Her love for these animals was not just for show. She was interested in studying their behavior and learning more about the natural world. Cosmetics from crocodile dung. In ancient times, cosmetics were made from various natural ingredients, including minerals, plant extracts, and animal products that were considered sacred and believed to have healing properties. In Egypt, the most common types were made from crocodiles because they were considered sacred and believed to have healing properties. Cleopatra didn't just use any type of cosmetic she could find. She used cosmetics made from crocodile dung blended with other colorful ingredients, such as powdered malachite and lead sulfide, to create a range of colorful pigments. Sailing down the Nile in a golden barge. Cleopatra was known for her love of luxury and had a fleet of stunning ships that she would use for her travels. One of her most famous vessels was a golden barge that was decorated with precious stones and adorned with gold leaf. The goddess would sail down the Nile in this stunning vessel, surrounded by her courtiers and attendants. The barge was not just a means of transportation, it symbolized her influence and wealth. Irresistible charm. It's no longer news that Cleopatra had the power to make men dance to her tune and do her bidding, both big and small. One of her prey was Caesar, who was so overwhelmed by her charm that he erected a statue of her beside the statue of the former goddess, while Antony, who was in the web of the same fate, gifted her a golden egg. Political marriages and murders. Cleopatra was a shrewd political operator, and she used marriage as a way to solidify her power and influence. She had relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, both very powerful Roman leaders, and these relationships helped her maintain her grip on power and protect her kingdom from outside threats. The Egyptians were known as people who loved to keep their intimacy within their lineage, and this same fate befell Cleopatra. She was forced to marry her brother, Ptolemy XIII, who was also her co-ruler, but the marriage was more a matter of a political game than love. Cleopatra's mother kicked the bucket when she was clocked 14, allowing her to rule with her father as the deputy. When her father died, she was put in the tight spot of having to marry her brother and share the throne with him. When a dispute arose between the Roman army and the Syrians, Cleopatra took sides with the Syrians and helped them win. The Roman king felt rage and aligned himself with Cleopatra's brother to dethrone her. Since Cleopatra could not defend her power, she fled with her sister Arsinoe IV. Unfortunately, things turned sour in a short while when Ptolemy XIII ordered Pompey's death. Pompey was the son of a great general who happened to be Julius Caesar's friend. Due to the fact that he had a connection with Caesar, Ptolemy XIII felt threatened by his presence in his kingdom and gave orders that he should be killed. The murder angered Caesar, and he seized the Egyptian army, but Ptolemy XIII escaped. However, his escape didn't last long, because as he tried to escape Caesar's wrath, Ptolemy XIII met his doom in the Nile, where he drowned. After the death of Ptolemy XIII, Cleopatra was again forced to marry her youngest brother, Ptolemy XIV. At that time, she'd already borne Caesar a son, and because she wanted her son to become her heir, she murdered her brother. However, it didn't just stop there. She also murdered her sister, and these murders clearly showed that when it comes to monopolizing power, Cleopatra didn't care who stood in her way. She did the unthinkable just to have it all. Despite her many accomplishments, Cleopatra's life was not without its challenges. She faced political upheaval, betrayal, and even war, but always emerged victorious. Her story is one of resilience, strength, and ambition, and it continues to captivate people all over the world. So, while some see her as an amazing goddess who helped the Egyptians to achieve so many successes, some see her as a devilish woman who used her charm to cause problems.